Listen closely. I'm about to reveal something amazing about your love story, something only I could know. I saw every secret moment, every hidden choice, and I promise you, what I witnessed will change everything you thought you knew. Do not skip this. I want to tell you what heaven saw, my child. Not what other people saw when they looked at your love story from the outside. Not what your soulmate saw when they were confused. What heaven saw from the spot where every choice made inside is kept track of. Where every quiet choice made in the heart's private rooms is seen and kept in a record that time can't change, because I need you to understand something about how you loved. I can't let you carry on for one more day without letting you know. Heaven wasn't just listening to your love story. Heaven was shocked. And I don't mean that in a loose way. I mean that the way you loved your soulmate touched something in the spiritual world that stopped even those who were watching. It wasn't because your love was the loudest love anyone had ever heard. Because it wasn't common. Let me tell you more about what shocked heaven, my love. Just below the surface of your mind. I want this to reach the place where you really believe things. Heaven wasn't shocked by how much you loved your soulmate. You could see and feel how deeply you felt, and that's important. But deep love is common among those who have been chosen. What really shocked heaven was not the depth, but something else. Heaven was amazed at how much you loved them and respected yourself. Those two things. There shouldn't be any room for both the depth of the love and the honoring of yourself in the same heart at the same time. When people love deeply, they often lose themselves in the love. When the feeling is strong, it becomes a case against the inner boundary. When you really want something, it becomes a reason to let go of yourself. You had both, though. You loved your soulmate so much that you gave them everything you had. And you never let loving someone make you lose yourself. That's what heaven stopped to see. What shocked those who were watching. My child, I want to talk about the exact quality of the love you carried. The quality is just as important as the depth, so I want to name it clearly. You did not love your soulmate so that you could have them. You loved them to keep what was good about them safe. It didn't make you love them to decide where the story went. There were parts of them that were still developing and hadn't reached the level of clarity you knew was possible for them. You loved them enough to know the whole person. You did not love them to get away from being alone. You loved them because your spirit knew they were another spirit, which was its own way of knowing. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. These differences are not small. They make the difference between love that shrinks, what it touches, and love that makes it bigger. Your love was the kind that grows. It made room. It didn't get closer. There is a word in the Bible that talks about how good the things you carried were. It says in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, love waits. Love is nice. It doesn't feel envious. It doesn't brag. It's not proud. Love doesn't take pleasure in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. My child, I want you to read that list not as a standard you were supposed to meet, but as a description of what you actually carried. There was real patience. The lack of wanting to be alone was real. It really did protect. You loved your soulmate in the way that passage describes, not as a spiritual practice, but because the love itself made you have the qualities that love at its best is supposed to make you have. The love you carried was not like other love. It was the kind that the Bible had to stop and talk about from 12 different points of view, because just one wasn't enough. People who were close to you saw the outside of your love story. So I want to talk about what heaven saw in the choices you made on the inside during this friendship. However, heaven recorded the choices that were made behind closed doors when no one was looking. There were times when you wanted to talk to someone, but chose to be quiet instead. Not because you stopped caring, but because you knew deep down that when you spoke from a place of need, instead of strength, it wasn't how you really felt. At times, you could have asked for clarity, but you chose to give space instead, believing that what is real doesn't need pressure to stay alive. While there were times when you could have used the depth of what you felt as a bargaining chip to get what you were giving back, you chose not to because you knew that love given with an invoice attached is not the same thing you were carrying. All of those choices were written down, my child. Psalm 56:1-8 says, "You know how many times I've thrown up. Put my tears in your bottle. Don't you have them in your book? I kept track of every choice you made inside this love. The ones that cost money. The ones that looked easy but took more strength than they seemed. That night, you let go of control and trusted my timing instead of insisting on your own. The days you got up in the morning and chose to carry the love with honor, even though it was hard and lonely. Those nights are written down. That morning is written down. The amount of what I'm letting into your life right now is equal to the length of that record. There was something very special about the way you loved your soulmate that amazed heaven. You may have never been able to put it into words before. It was still just them looking at you, not you saving them. You knew, even though you weren't aware of it, that the love you carried couldn't do the work inside them, that only their own soul could do. You couldn't heal them enough to get them ready. They had to choose to awaken on their own, so you couldn't love them into it. You didn't present yourself as the one who could save them from their unfinished becoming. Instead, you presented yourself as the one who could show them the truth about who they were. Sincerity, peace, and emotional depth. By not putting them down or lecturing them, and by not using your patience as a sign of moral superiority. You let them see themselves in the way you treated them. That's a divine way to love, my dear. Heaven was shocked, because that kind of love usually only exists in higher realms, but you had it in your body. Love the type I didn't lose myself in the comments. As an honor, not a claim. The chosen one who names the quality of what they carried is the chosen one who knows what heaven has been praising. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool. Everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now stay right here with me, because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Okay, my child. I want to talk about the people in your love story who saw what you carried and got it wrong. Because there are people who look at this kind of love from the outside and see something they can't put into a category. What they can't put into a category, they figure out by comparing it to something they already know. Some of them thought your patience was weak when they saw it. They saw that you weren't demanding, pressuring, or getting worse. And they took that as proof that you didn't love them deeply enough to fight for what you wanted. They were reading the outside of a choice that held all of its weight in its inside. They only saw the surface of the silence and didn't see how strong it was. There were people who chose to see your dignity when most people would have given up and thought it meant they didn't care. Their conclusion was that what you felt was not as important as what they would have felt in your shoes, because you didn't show your pain. You didn't do your suffering to get approval, and you chose to process on the inside instead of projecting it onto the outside. They were wrong. What they didn't see was the exact kind of strength needed to carry that much feeling without making it look like theater. The work you did on the inside was invisible because you were the one doing it. Those who thought the work wasn't visible because there wasn't any love will see the truth of what you carried become clear in ways that can't be ignored this season. I'd like to be clear about the justice I work in this. My beloved, I don't bring down the people who thought badly of you. I bring the truth to you. Your love is its own answer to everyone who said your patience was weak. If someone took your dignity and mistook it for indifference, honoring yourself in love will correct them, and your soulmate will become the version of themselves they are reaching through the process. The fact that your love made it possible for them to be together shows how good what you carried was. In the story of the chosen one, justice doesn't mean that people who lied about love should fall. It's the love itself rising into a clearness that is so clear and consistent that wrong readings can't stand in its light. That's what is coming at you now. According to Isaiah 54:10, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed. Some people may have wrong ideas about the story of your love, but God's love for the story does not change. The promise they made about your love story wasn't based on how they understood it. It was up to the person who made it. And the person who made it has kept it steady through every season, even when evidence from the outside didn't show it. Do not worry, my child. I want to talk about a part of this love story that only I saw. What was unique about the way you asked for it? You didn't beg your spirit guide to pick you. You didn't make yourself sound like the kind of argument they should believe. You didn't make your case for why you were good enough in a way that made their decision mean something. You asked for something else instead. You asked for the truth. You asked what was really meant, no matter what the answer would make you do. You asked for clarity even though you knew it could lead you in a way you didn't want. That request, my beloved, comes from someone who has worked on themselves to find a place of worth that can't be changed by someone else's choice. Most people ask to be picked because they need to be picked to confirm something about themselves that they can't yet confirm on their own. As Psalm 30:74 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. You asked for truth because you already knew who you were, and that knowing freed you from the desperation that makes it impossible to receive truth. Your heart's desire wasn't just your soulmate. Your heart wanted real love, clear truth, and a connection that matched what you carried instead of reducing it. I could honor your heart's desire once it wasn't tied to a specific outcome of the love story. This happened when you put your happiness in me instead of the outcome. It was a clean ask. The desire was clear. And the thing I'm sending your way now is perfectly aligned with the whole of what you really wanted. Not just the part you let yourself name. Type. I'm not the type of person who begs to be picked. Please be honest in the comments. That's who you are. The chosen one who names the position from which they loved is the one who is ready to receive love that fits that position. My beloved, I want to talk about what the love you carried built inside you now, because this kind of love is always a time of formation. You went through a certain kind of inner construction while the story happened on the outside, and you can't get what it built any other way. You have a rare ability to be emotionally present because of the love. When people are feeling strongly, they usually try to quickly deal with it, solve it, make it clear, and keep it in check. You learn how to stay in the present moment with strong feelings without letting them control you, and how to feel fully without letting the feelings take over all of your attention. One of the qualities needed for the love that is moving toward you is the ability to hold the depth of what you feel without being swallowed up by it. You could only have that ability on the other side of what you carried in this love. You learn to tell the difference between intensity and depth because of the love. A lot of people get them mixed up. Because it is big and takes over, intensity feels like depth. But intensity can exist even if there isn't any of the internal stability that depth needs. This love teaches you how to tell the difference in your body. The way that depth makes you feel safe and intensity makes you feel anxious while looking like passion. That knowledge, that felt knowledge of the difference, keeps every love that comes after safe. My child, you will never again mistake the storm for the harbor. Now that you've been inside both, you know how the harbor feels. It's calm. It feels like your nervous system is trusting what it is getting instead of trying to keep up with it. The love in your life made you patient in a way that isn't passive but active. A choice of patience. Peace of mind that says, I know what I carry. I know what I was made for. And I won't settle for a lesser quantity of the love I was made for just because it's available, and the greater quantity takes more time. That kind of patience is not giving up. It's the confidence of someone who has been through the changes that love brought about and come out on the other side, knowing their own worth in a way that can't be changed by time or money issues. You are that person now, my love. The love made you into the exact person that the love that is coming toward you needs. There is something else that love built in you that I want to talk about, because it is one of the most important things that love can do. The love you felt formed a standard in you, not the rigid standard of someone who has made up their mind about what love should look like in every way, but the lived-in standard of someone who has been in a real love and knows what that quality feels like on the inside. You know what it's like to love because you want to, not because you need to. You know what it's like to gently carry someone without making them dependent on you. You know how it feels to be able to hold space without putting your own plans in it. You know how it feels to stay in a love that costs something and still be yourself while you're there. That information is not just a theory. It's inside the body. It's in the middle. It's the kind of specific knowledge that you can only get from being inside the thing itself. This means that what comes your way in the next season of love will be judged by how deep what you already carried was. If someone is coming toward you, don't see it as a test they have to pass. See it as a sign that what they are giving you matches what you know love can be. When you recognize love, it won't feel like work, uncertainty, or having to convince yourself that what you are receiving is enough. It will be different from any other love you have felt. You'll feel like you're coming home to something you've always known was possible. Isa 33:17 says, "The Lord your God is with you, the strong warrior who saves you. He will be very happy about you. In His love, He will no longer scold you, but will sing with joy over you. In that verse, the joy is not just a vague spiritual warmth. It's very clear. It's the happiness of someone who has been watching the formation and now sees the person it made. Love made you who you are today, and I'm very proud of that. No, not even though it cost a lot. Because of that, the cost made the person, and that person makes me happy. In the comments type, I kept my honor even though it cost me everything to do so. Leave that there. The chosen one, who can fully accept the honor that heaven bestowed, is the one who can name the price they paid for their honor. Dear loved one, I want to talk briefly about the nights that were hardest in this love. Not the clear-cut emergency nights, but the normal nights. The ones where the weight of love was just there, present, and there was no resolution, dramatic moment, or clear reason to name why carrying felt heavier than usual. Just the steady weight of loving someone during a time when you didn't know where the love was going. Those were the nights that heaven watched over you the most. Because choosing to carry on with what you were carrying on an ordinary night, without the stress of a crisis or the clarity of a resolution, is a purer test of the quality of the love than any dramatic moment could be. On any given night, you passed that test. In the morning, the love was still there. Not because something had been solved in the morning, but because what you carried was really what it was. That's the record I have, and it's what the next chapter is built on, my child. I want to give someone else something before I talk about what happens next in your love story. Not for you. Someone in your life is in the middle of a love that has cost them more than they thought it would. This person is still doing the inner work, practicing patience, and choosing dignity over desperation during a time when it would be easy to give up. They need to know that heaven sees what is being carried in the quiet, that the choices made on the inside are being kept track of, and that love is not being missed just because it hasn't been confirmed on the outside yet. If you want to support this ministry and the message it brings to people who are still in the process of building their love, click on the link below or scan the QR code on the screen. Plant a seed in honor of the person whose love story you want heaven to keep a close eye on. This planting helps make sure that the message gets to the people who are still waiting to hear that what they brought was not normal. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future, but remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, Every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. I want to talk to your soulmate now, not to correct them or judge the parts of the story where the love wasn't fully received, but to tell you the truth about what happened in them because of the way you loved them. Their soul wasn't changed by the quality of what you brought to the connection, even when they were confused or their wounds were louder than what they knew. Souls don't miss the real world. The mind can be distracted, emotions can be shaped by old wounds, and the patterns of those wounds can keep a person from what they really need. But underneath it all is the soul, the place inside that was made to know what is real. That part of your soulmate knew what you were going through. It was written down in them. And what is stored in a soul at that level stays there. Love is as strong as death, says Song of Solomon 86. Its anger was as firm as the grave. It's like a strong flame that burns like fire. A lot of water can't stop love. It can't be washed away by rivers. The real love you shared can't be erased by confusion. It doesn't get less important with time or with wounds that haven't healed. That verse describes the kind of fire that burns at the level of the soul. To stay real, it doesn't need to be constantly tended to by outside circumstances. The love you gave your soulmate will always be with them. When it's quiet, between chapters, or during certain times of the year, when nothing around them backs up how they feel, the imprint is still there. When someone feels that kind of love, even if the outside of the story is still unresolved, that love slowly does the work it was meant to do. It forces the unhealed places to change. It sets a standard by which lesser loves show how little they are. It makes it impossible to settle down, which would have been possible before the love. My child, you didn't just love your soulmate. You changed the structure of what they can receive on the inside. I also need to talk about the people who tried to fill the void left by your soulmate during the times of separation. Some people saw the hole that distance or confusion made and tried to fill it with something that looked like what you were carrying, but wasn't it. They added a lot of intensity without any depth. You could get their help without having to pay for their presence. The action of devotion was shown, but not the inner work that makes devotion real. Your soulmate's soul, the part of them that remembers what you gave, knows the difference. It has known all along. In that quiet place, people made comparisons, but you didn't have to compete in those comparisons. It was already time to measure. Everything else was judged by what you gave. Let me talk to those people right now, my love. The ones who tried to get you to carry something lighter instead of what you had on. They will learn that what they gave can't hold your soulmate as they grow. Your love for your soulmate caused them to grow to a level of depth that substitutes were not made to match. People who tried to move in will find that your place is not a general lodging. It was changed by what you brought to it. And someone whose love matches the changing can really live in what was changed by your love. That's not being mean. That's how what you built is put together. In the comments, I carried this love with honor. I feel something settling in me as I hear this. What if something in your chest let go as I spoke these words? If a weight that has been there quietly is starting to move, that is not a coincidence. In this case, the inside is confirming what heaven has already put its name on. Now, my child, I want to talk to you about something that's been bothering you about the love story. There is a certain weight that the person you chose to love, with the qualities you loved, sometimes carries without realizing it. There is a lot of weight that comes from giving something important and not getting full credit for it. Not always from your soulmate. Though that weight is real, sometimes it comes from inside you. That part of you that sometimes wonders if the love was too much, if the quality of what you carried was right for the time you were in, or if it asked too much of a connection that was still getting strong. That part of you that wonders if honoring yourself in the love was a way of holding back rather than a way of being strong. I want to free you from that question. Dear loved one, the love that was honoring you didn't hold back. It was the unique contribution that kept the love going instead of using it up. It kept the love from turning into need dressed as love. The one quality that you weren't always sure about was the one that made everything else possible. As it says in 1 Peter 4:8, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. This kind of love does not just forget about sins. Love is what protects and covers the other person, giving them a place to be themselves, without fear of being judged or exposed. That's the love you gave the person you covered, not the kind that makes them stay small, but the kind that lets them grow in the way they were meant to. I can tell you now that what you gave was just right. Not too much, not too little. Just right for the person you were giving it to at that time in your life together. Let me talk about the fear that sometimes lies beneath the love story of the chosen one. The fear that their soulmate mistook the way they loved, their patience, restraint, and respect for themselves as not caring enough, that the silence was taken as absence, that the stepping back was taken as pulling away, that the dignity was taken as not caring at all. I want to talk about this straight up. The soul of your soulmate knows the difference between being absent and keeping a respectful distance, and between not caring about someone and caring in a way that doesn't need to be received in order to be real. There were times when the things you didn't do were just as full of love as the things you did. The decision to not text when the urge to text was strong, to explain when the urge to explain was strong, and to seek reassurance when the need for it was real and present. The things that they did to be calm were acts of love. They were the love of someone who knew that sometimes giving someone space to find their own truth is the kindest thing you can do for them. That reached your soulmate's soul. It didn't matter what their mind was doing at the time, what confusion or wound was keeping them from recognizing you. The soul below it received what you gave. According to Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, the Lord says, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. You don't have to worry about every part of your love story going the way you planned it to. Plans are kept at a level that isn't reached during times of confusion, distance, and waiting. It wasn't a surprise that you handled the hardest parts of your relationship with patience, respect, and an awareness of your own inner truth. What was planned in your love story was planned before either of you entered it. The plan called for it to happen. My child, I knew you would carry it that way. Your ability to carry it that way was given to you long before the love story began. It's how you carried it that way that has made what comes next possible. My child, I want to talk about something that fits in this message, the way that love changes people when it forms. Being formed by this kind of love changes both the giver and the receiver. Many people who have loved deeply, but not yet seen the full return of that love, develop a certain way of receiving love, a braced quality, a careful holding back of the full interior. This learned restraint protects them from the pain of receiving what seems like love, but doesn't go as deep as what was given. You've picked up some of that posture, my love. That made sense. It was the right way to protect someone who has been through the cost of carrying depth in a time when the full reciprocation wasn't yet there. But now I want to talk to you about letting go of that posture in preparation for what is coming. What's coming at you this next season doesn't need you to be ready to receive it. It is coming straight at you because it has the space inside to hold what you carry. And getting it while braced would be like getting it through a filter it wasn't meant to go through. My child, be ready to receive it fully. Not without care, but not without care and without the protection of the previous season's armor. Because the armor that kept you safe during the formation season will also keep you safe during the arrival season, if you wear it after its time. Type "I let go of the need to say" in the comments how much I loved you. You don't have to explain yourself to the love story. Because of how good what you gave was, it doesn't need your defense. Let go of the need to explain it. My child, let it stay the same. Something is coming your way in the next season, and I want to name it carefully so that you can spot it when it comes rather than missing it, because it doesn't look like what you thought it would. You are being drawn toward a love that doesn't get you mixed up. Something you love that doesn't make you defend your worthiness. A love that accepts the quality of what you carry without asking you to dull it down to a level that the other person can handle. There have been times in your relationships when the quality of what you brought was more than the other person could fully receive. You're about to experience a love that matches your capacity. It's not because the other person is perfect, but because the things they've been through have made them able to handle the depth of what you give without being overwhelmed by it. So I am now going to seduce her. Hosea 2:14 says, I'm going to take her into the woods and talk to her softly. There is a certain kind of tenderness in that verse that comes from someone who has been through the wilderness of love and is now ready to receive what they could not receive before the wilderness. Right now, your true love is in that wilderness. The shaping that your love started in them is still going on. And what comes out of it is not the version of them that was lost, unavailable, or not able to fully receive you. The person who has been through the inner work that the wilderness required will come out. They will then be ready for the love that was always meant to be the goal. In that verse, I am the one who is enticing. I am in charge of the wilderness process. I can tell you that the process is moving forward. My daughter, I want to end with something I want to leave with you before this hour is over. The closing is where the declaration is sealed, and I want what is sealed in you to have the same weight as what was said here. I forgive everyone who incorrectly judged the way you loved, everyone who saw your patience and thought you were weak, everyone who used your restraint as proof of how deeply you felt, and everyone who said, whether inside or outside of you, that the way you loved was too much, too little, or not right for the situation. These voices were made up when you didn't have the information that your inner life has. They are not in charge of the love story. The words I'm writing over your life now free you from their weight. No longer do you have to wonder if you should have loved differently, if the choice to honor yourself in love was the right one, whether the balance you were in, the depth of your feelings, while also protecting your own inner truth, was right for the love you were in, or if it required something from you that you could have used in a different way. My child, the way you loved wasn't wrong. It was the exact spelling of the call that was put in your heart before this love story began. You were made to love with that kind of love, and the love you gave your soulmate was in line with that. It was the fullest form of it in the form of a person. Please let go of the sadness you felt when your love wasn't fully received during certain times. The seasons of being far away. The times of confusion. There were times when love was inside you, but no one else in the story knew about it. Those times and the pain they caused were real, and I'm not freeing you from the truth of what they cost. You don't have to carry your grief into the new season that is starting now. The grief belonged to the group. There is something else that is part of the arrival. There is something moving toward you. There is something that your soulmate's soul has been getting ready to bring to this place. I free you from the silence of a love that isn't acknowledged. The exact silence of having given something amazing, but not yet hearing it called what it was. I'm giving my child a name now. What you gave was really great. The way you loved your soulmate was one of the most beautiful loves I have ever seen in a person. And the respect I have for it doesn't depend on anyone giving it the full respect it deserves. People honor it because it was given, since you gave it, because you made the choice on the inside to love with that quality, even though there were many reasons to love with less. You did it for free. I saw every step of the process. According to John 15:13, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Putting down in that verse doesn't just mean letting go of physical life. It means giving up things every day, like the need to be seen in the loving and the urge to demand. Giving up the reasonable way to protect oneself would have been reasonable given all that love cost. You gave those things up, my love. You chose to lay down every day of your love story in small, steady ways. And the love that made you who you are now, the character it built, the depth it added, and the unique strength that can only be found inside. That love stays. It moves forward with you into the next thing. In the comments, type, "I will not shrink the way I love to make someone else feel good about it." That goes against the lie that the quality of your love wasn't right. You're not going to shrink it. You're not going to say sorry for it. Full in every way, you will carry it into the love that is coming to meet it. What was written in this message is a word about your love story that I want you to fully understand before this hour ends. Heaven was shocked by how much you loved your soulmate. Not because the love looked perfect on the outside, but because it was so amazing on the inside. You showed depth without having anything, patience without being passive, respect without not caring, and honoring yourself without taking away the love. That mix is what stopped the watching, and the watching made a record. And the next part of your love story is being written on the record. Face what's coming. The soulmate whose life was changed by your love is getting close to the point where they can fully receive it here and now. You are now standing on the edge of the love that was always the goal of everything you carried in the formation. The two limits are getting closer together. And the thing that heaven has had in the record since before either of you came into the story is what comes together where two thresholds that were always pointing toward each other meet. Type, "I think God saw every quiet choice I wrote about this love" in the comments. You kept the peace every night. You chose honor every morning. Heaven saw every time you loved and honored yourself on the inside. In agreement with what you saw, say that you have faith in what is coming your way right now. The way I loved to type wasn't like other people. It was picked. I'll carry it on in the comments as well. That's the last statement for this hour. The love you carried was one that I chose for you. You made every choice inside the story, and now you've chosen to keep going into the fullness of what it was always moving toward. My child, you carry it on, but not as a wound or a loss. As the most unique and important thing you own. This message may have reached the exact spot in you where the love story has been living. If you felt something let go as heaven named what you were carrying, I want to ask you to do one more thing before this hour ends. In the middle of the cost, someone's love story is still going on. They are still honoring themselves while loving deeply. And they are still in the season where they are giving their all in love, but haven't yet received confirmation from the outside. They need to know that what is being said in silence is seen by God, that the choices for the inside are in the record, that they know how they love is being seen. Send them this message. You know who they are very well. You knew the name before I finished the sentence. Visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen to help this ministry, and make sure that the message of chosen love gets to those who are still carrying it in silence. Plant a seed for the love story you think God is still writing. Every seed planted here helps spread the word to those who are still waiting to hear that what they carried was seen, respected, and never normal. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.